also be a podcast. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm live streaming it too. All right, we're live now. All right, folks. I got Paris Robinson here with me today. We're on the opposite sides of the United States right now, and man, I wanted to bring Paris on because we're from two different worlds in a lot of ways, and we met about was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was about 2 years ago. You came and spake. We spoke at the same event, um, and we've got to hang out before. We've done a show before. I have many people tell me that the show that we did together is their favorite show that
All
I've
right.
done.
It
Yeah.
was mine too, though.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun then, and yeah, things have since we met. A lot of things have changed, or at least a lot of things we've become aware of. Um, and so, can you give? I think a lot of people know who I am and know my background a bit, and not everyone has listened to the show that you and I did before. So, can you give us like a quick background on who you are and where you
Yeah.
come from?
Well, I'm Paris Robinson, and I'm born and raised here where I'm at now in Richmond, Virginia. Um, I've, I got two kids, six grandkids. I came out of Highland Park, Richmond, Virginia. I've been in and out of trouble. I've had issues with drugs and alcohol for a majority part of my life. I've been to prison. I've been shot 4 times, paralyzed, put in a chair. Um, now, I mostly just try to, inspire, motivate. I go to hospitals, institutions, nursing homes, wherever, that somebody needs to be uplifted, needs some hope. I don't try to just talk about the hope. I try to show the hope, because sometimes people need to see things more than they hear things, so
Yeah, yeah,
that's, pretty much me.
yeah. And you're in Richmond, Virginia, where I was watching some videos the other day, and people were they had defaced some monuments, taken some statues down, threw them in the water. So it's hot there, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of protests, a lot of that's happening. What's your opinion on that? Like, and are you a part of it? Are you witnessing it? What's going on?
Well, I'm a part of it,
Hmm.
but I'm not in the marches because by me being in the wheelchair, I know that anything could jump off at any given moment with the marches, and it could turn around and chaos break loose, and people get to running and screaming or whatever, and I get turned over out my chair, So I don't partake in it in that form,
Hmm.
but I am in support of them. I speak out, and I'm in all favor of taking down the monuments.
Yeah.
I'm here in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up with those monuments, on it's Monument Avenue, right? So I grew up seeing those all my life. I seen, the Confederate soldiers' monuments being up, and I knew, right, really what their life um was about. It was about to keep slavery alive, right? But as the years go on, you kind of desensitize, like the effect because it's just there. You're like, okay, that's part of it. So you take it as a norm, an everyday thing. But the monuments may be gone or may be misplaced or maybe defaced, but the mentality, right? That's what has to be taken down. It's the
Yeah.
mentality, it's the thinking, that those people on that monument, right? Like their perception then came on from generation to generation and is installed in, you know, uh, I would say their offsprings.
Yeah.
It's still here and it's still alive, but we try to like sensitize it because we don't want to talk about it, right? Because it's a real sensitive subject, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of attitudes will get involved, and but really sometimes, when you try to put a band-aid on a big scar, right? If you take the band-aid off, it'll heal quicker.
Yeah.
So that's something that we need to, just trying to find a way to be able to open and honestly talk about these situations that we face every day, because we see them.
Yeah.
I know I see them. I may see them from a different set of eyes as you,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at it from a black man's perspective. you
Yeah.
know
When you walked or rode by, wheeled by in your chair, like when you go by those monuments and you go by those statues, I mean, did you get to a point where you were desensitized to it so you didn't even notice it, or did you register and just like, man, I wish those things would have been taken down sooner, or what's
well
what was that
as
like
like
for you?
well as me going by as a youth, right?
Yeah.
I knew like what those monuments and who the people on those monuments were and what they represented, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you try to put in the back of your head that that was then, or you try to put in that, okay, this is somebody else's heritage or this is somebody else's custom, and
Mm.
so you ignore 'em.
It doesn't feel like your heritage. It's somebody else's heritage.
Right, it's definitely not mine.
Yeah.
Nothing that I can say that, as a black person, that I would want to sit and see every day, to, like that remind me, of the attitude that they had towards my people at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I I saw it was Saturday and Sunday. I saw videos of the statues coming down, and it was interesting. 'Cause my first reaction to it was excitement. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Holy shit!" This like it opened up a new awareness in my mind. I go, I didn't, I've never, I've walked by statues a couple times. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So like I lived in the South where these types of things were also prominent. Out here on the West Coast, that you really don't have statues and monuments like that. But I do remember walking by and going, wow, it's really weird to have that guy's statue up. But um and I remember thinking about that one time, and then I asked someone about it, and they were like, it's part of history. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I would do about it. And I never thought about it again. And then I saw the statues come down, and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
why didn't this happen sooner? And, like, because it's so strange, because back then it was normal when they were put up. And then over time, we as Americans have evolved and become less racist in a lot of ways. Like every generation becomes less, but I'm
But let
surprised
me
that it took till this point to go, oh shit, we should take that shit down.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is that people have been protesting for those statues to come down,
That's what
right?
I was wondering about. That's what I was
Yeah,
wondering
but
about.
see, the people, right, that been protesting aren't the people that control the money, or aren't the people that control the institution or the policies. So the people that control the institutions and the policies, they decide to keep them up, right?
Yeah,
So when we protest about it, it don't get no like mass media coverage. Like like
yeah,
like I'm gonna tell you, like the age of Facebook and all this other new age and technology that's come out, right? Like people has been like silently or peacefully protesting for years, and it never got any coverage.
yeah,
Never. All the CNN, I don't care what network you watch, it never got any coverage. Why? Because the people that was in control of the policies didn't care, right? They didn't think it was news enough. But when Facebook came involved and people started going live and they started seeing like really what was happening in society. You get it from both. Now you can see what I see all the time.
Yeah.
Now you get a glimpse in my world, right? And you be like, damn, you be shocked. You be like,
Yeah.
damn, I can't believe really, like he got his knees on this man's neck, posing, taking pictures. Now he's supposed to be an officer of the law, right? He's supposed to be to serve and protect, right? But
Yep.
he's posing with his knee on his neck like he just made a big game kill over in Africa somewhere. You know, the United States government has been had their knees on the necks of black people, right? Ever since the Atlantic slave trade, we've been saying we can't breathe. Right?
Yeah.
We've been trying to like protest or I'll say or sit-ins or marches peacefully, but ain't want nobody listening. We still 25 and 50 years later peacefully protesting and marching for the same things that we was peacefully protesting marching for 25 or 50 years ago. Ain't nobody want to hear it. Ain't nobody want to see. And it's sad that it take violence and it take, this to get to this point. But all you had to do in the beginning was do the right thing. That's all
Yeah.
you have to do in life. If you do the right thing, right, then you won't have to suffer the consequences that come behind not doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, I mean, if people are protesting and appealing those statues and monuments, I mean, I'm going to take it back to that and I want to catch back up with what you were saying. But like, who was in charge at that point? Like, who's the mayor? Who's the governor of Virginia? I mean,
Well, we have a
are they taking any responsibility?
yes, we have our governor's Governor Northam, right? And what I will say about him, they gave him a lot of slack a couple months back for when he was younger. He put on like a black face and did this I don't know what it was, a Halloween thing or whatever, right? But I
Yeah.
will say this about Governor Northam, man. And I believe that he's the only like certified doctor that's a governor, right? So when it came time for like the city to shut down, he shut it down. Right? He went, he has done a lot. And I can say what I've seen and I've studied about him. He has done a lot when it came to like helping people. Like he was like, take the statues down, take them down. They should have been took down. You know, um, I don't really have nothing to say bad about our governor, man.
Yeah. 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 I was just wondering, like, when I look at the situation, I see like there's a lot of people that make promises that just end up not like a lot of what's being protested right now is like you were saying, it's nothing new. So it took a time in Facebook, a time in Instagram where somebody could video something and just throw it online, and that's what really caused this because the mainstream media isn't really
Yeah, the
covering it.
mainstream media, man, is their allegiance is either it's not to the people, right? It's to
Yeah,
a very slim people that control the media, that control the government, right? Their allegiance is to like either Democrat or Republican,
yeah.
right?
Well,
And
what
and
do you
which
do? I mean, what I'm saying is like I wonder if the media controls both Democrats and Republicans. I'm not sure that there is an allegiance to one of the parties. I think someone's in charge of the media that pulls the politicians around. You think it's the other way around?
well, I think there's somebody behind the politicians. I think the politicians only support the policies of who is controlling them. I don't really. I think they are just a face, right? Because I for me, right, if you look at the media, right, you got a certain few that own this group and that own this group, and they will only put on their views of what they want to be shown,
Hmm.
right? And as you know, um, perception, right? The
Yeah,
media controls perception.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
So you know what I keep putting in front of you, and you keep looking at, like, if even go and Google black man, right, and see the perception that they have of a black man on Google. I was like, damn, it looked like they showing a shock of a Jaws video or something,
Hmm.
you know. And
Hmm.
man, it's just that, like, there's only a certain, like, it's 1% that controls the whole 99%, right? And that 1% dictate the laws, the governs, the policies, right? And they use puppets, right? They use because to me, politicians, they're entertainers too,
Yeah.
right? They
Oh
know
yeah,
how
for
to,
sure.
yeah, they
Yeah,
know how to.
politics and sports are a lot of this. They're a lot alike, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
what you don't, what, well, I don't know if you understand or not, but politicians, basketball, football players, baseball players, dancers, entertainers, all that, all they are entertainers, right? To keep us, like, focus off what's the real object that's being played, like, because
Yeah.
there's always something behind something. Nobody gives you nothing, something for nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of politicians sell our soul, right? So that they could be like this top figure or this elite person that people look up to. But if you really, like, listen to politicians, man, they're not as smart as they try to seem to be. You
I
can
know.
ask them a simple question, and they'll use all these big political words, right, to make you, and they never answer the question.
Yeah. 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 I think. Yeah. It's wild. I'm curious. What did you watch the video of George Floyd being killed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was that like for you?
And it was sad. It was sad. But the sad thing about it is that that wasn't the first time I saw a video like that.
Mm. Yeah.
And it had got, soon as I saw it, right, like, my heart and my spirit went out to him. But the first thing that after that, I said to myself, oh, he gonna get away with this too, because this is the first time that I've saw this. Right? This isn't the first time that I've seen a lot of people, black people, right, get shot, get killed, right, get assaulted by the police, and nothing ever happened. I mean, I'm a witness to this. I see this every day when I wake up. See, like I say, there's two America, right? There's your
Hmm.
perception of America, and there's my perception of America, as what I see. Right? You see the police as protect and serve, right? I see them as a threat on my life every day I come out the house. Right? Because you know why? Because I see them constantly in my area, controlling and patrolling my neighborhood like they in Afghanistan somewhere with all these AK-47s and dogs and vests, and they jump out and they harass people, right? And you be like, man, is there us against y'all, or is there y'all against us? And it's like my neighborhood, like, you probably come outside, you probably very rarely ever see a police. I come outside, I see them constantly. And the crazy shit is, Bledsoe, is that I see them constantly, but my area still has a high crime rate in it.
Right.
How in the hell my area got a high crime rate and is infested with police every day?
Yeah. And they look like they're in the military. We have a
Yeah,
militarized police. Well, I mean, every department is different, but like what you're talking about, they have assault rifles, they have dogs, they're equipped as if they're going to war, and then they show up to the neighborhood. What are you going to expect?
yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
People are gonna, if someone shows up looking like they're ready to go to war, I gotta get ready to go to war.
yeah. And I was just listening to some early on TV where they was talking about how they was going to take some money out of the police precinct or do something something the police precincts, right, across the
Defund.
world.
Yeah, defund.
Defund them,
Yeah.
right? And bruh, I'm gonna tell you like this: you can defund them all you want, but if you don't change the mentality of how they think, then nothing will ever change. Right? You have to go in and you have to change the mentality on these officers that it's not you against them, right? Your duty is to protect and serve, right? Not to just uh lock up, throw away the key, right? Or harass, black people, brown people, people of color, right? The weaker sort, because if you look at it, that's where they're all, like stationed at. Like I got a police precinct right up the street from me, right? Right in front of it, man, they have it. It's like an all-day party out there. They don't even say nothing to them, right? But they'll go outside in the in the neighborhoods that's around there, right? And commit total chaos, but walk right on past the people that's sitting right in front of that door.
Yeah. What do you think the when you say change the mentality? I mean, what do you think that's going to take?
Um, to be honest, man, I really don't know, but I know you have to start like there has to be psychological testing,
Yeah.
right? You just can't give a person um AK-47 and give him military training and self-defense courses without even knowing like the people. You need to get to know the people, right? Because the people are what is your job is to serve and protect, right? Like in the 60s or like the late 50s and the early 60s, that's why they was called pig, because it was called pride, integrity, and guts, right? Where's the
I did not know
pride?
that.
Yeah, where's the integrity? Right? There's none of that no more. Right? It's a us against them thing. That's how they look at it. Right? And the thing about it is there are police that are sitting around knowing that there are police in there that are bad or corrupt, right? Or uh, uh, they hate this race of people, or they're prejudiced, and they let it go on, so they are just as guilty as the ones that is committing all these like heinous acts toward other people, right? If I
Yeah.
sit around and I watch you do something and I know it's wrong, right, I'm just as bad as you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So you experience the police as behaving as us. It's like them against us. So like you it sounds like you see them as an enemy as well. Like was
Yeah.
that like your whole life?
Well, let me say this, right? I'm all against, well, I'm not gonna say, I'm all for policing, because I see the world that we need to be, police. We need to have some type of organization. We need to have some law, right? And we need to have people to make sure that people abide by the law, right? So I'm not against the police precinct. Like I'm saying, I'm against the mentality of the police that comes out and harass and corrupts and lock people up, and just do things to people, man, that like you don't get to see what I see as a police, I mean,
Yeah.
as a black man, what I mean.
Yeah.
So I my police, like, people, they have to be like, you have to have psychological testing done on
Yeah.
police, man.
Yeah.
It has to be, I mean, constantly. You can't do it like whenever they commit a crime, then they get or whenever they shoot somebody, or then you get them time off with pay, and then they have to go see a therapist every so often. No, you need to do this on a constant, regular basis. You need to
Yeah.
have outreach program where they can get involved with the community, right? Some of the people that's outspoken in the community, to get them involved and let them know like what's going on, what need to be done in the community. How can we help y'all? How can y'all help us?
Yeah. Sounds like
Sometimes,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they just need to listen.
Yeah, sounds like a lack of communication, and that is listening. Like the best communicators listen very well, and you don't experience the police as people who listen. Is that right?
No, they don't listen, and they do not like to be corrected because they're arrogant. Because that badge gives them a sense of confidence, right? And that gun gives them a sense that they can do what they want. So the people that don't listen and don't like to be corrected are arrogant people, right? Just
Yeah.
like people of the government, their arrogance is what's going to destroy this country. And if you have noticed, in all other great nations that has been destructed and destroyed, it was due to arrogance.
Yeah, they have an authority. And so when they have authority, a lot of people they don't they feel like they're always right. They want to be
Uh
right.
huh.
And if you try to tell them they're wrong, they just dig in further.
Yeah, and they surround themselves with people that want like nah, bro, you wrong. You know this. You know they want people to pat them on the back or make their egos bigger. You know, so like we got a great example of President Trump. How many people he's fired in his presidency because people didn't agree with his policies or how he, went about his ways and what he said things or whatever. He fired him because he's an arrogant fucker.
Yeah,
Uh,
he definitely is he has a way about him. He definitely ha- you can tell that he is on a path, and no
uh-huh.
one's going to change that. No one's going to change that.
But it's
Uh
man, like this government, right, has I'll say, man, has had their knee in black people necks for
yeah.
400 years, bro. And what I would say, like, even when we tried to organize to come together, like to try to bring some type of solution together, right? There always was a way for them to come up and say, like, they send people in and say, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But then that never happened, right? That
Yeah.
goes all the way back to the 40 acres and the mule.
Well, here's what I. By the way, I want to put this out there. I'm fairly apolitical. I haven't voted since 2012. The government bothers me enough that I don't want to participate. um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's bothered me for a long time. But what I'm wondering is, how do you feel about having a black president for 8 years and these things still being a problem? I mean, like that's uh, what did Obama do that was good, and what did he not do? Because obviously he
All
had
right.
eight
Oh,
years.
yeah, all right, right there. Let me first say this too, since you put your political statement out there, right? Me
Yeah,
personally, I'm an independent. I don't
yeah,
hold my allegiance to the Democrats or the Republicans, right? I hold my allegiance to who I think has the best policy that will best help me at that time, right?
yeah,
So I don't claim Democrat and I don't claim Republicans, right? Uh, so and as far as Obama goes, right? I think Obama, by him being a black man and being the first black president, right, that lifted the eyes and the spirits and the hopes of black people in the world, right? Because
yeah.
we needed that. We need that,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah,
We need like to be inspired to like, oh, we can do it too. If he can do it, we can do it. But Obama is an exception to the rule, right? And everybody is not exceptional, right? Where most people are just ordinary, everyday Joes that just try to make it out, right? But Obama, for me, some of his policies I agree with, and some of them I didn't, right? And I
mhm,
wouldn't like when they was trying to get this next black president. I wouldn't vote. Right, my vote wouldn't go out because of the color of a person's skin. Right, I wouldn't give a damn what color of you is. If your policies will help me and benefit me and my community, then you are who I'm going to vote for. Right. So but when Obama, we have to understand too that Obama was just a face. Right?
Hmm.
Obama, I don't really think that he could what he would want to do or was trying to do, right? It didn't even he couldn't get it done. Like even when they had the banking industry and all that collapsed in 2008, right? It was people that was behind Obama that and as we gotta understand, right? These people fund him, right? They helped his his
Yeah.
political campaign, right? They
Yeah.
paid for all this, right? So he
Yeah.
has to make sure their policies go through first, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
when you got like a certain amount of people behind you, and they like, look, we got to get this money to these banking industry, you know, like Merrill Lynch and AIG, we got to make sure they are all right. So we got to put billions of dollars back into this banking industry, right? And then you might could slide something in there, right? But don't let it be too much, right? Because we're going to make sure you get another election, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then once like I don't, and I'm not homophobic, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm not homophobic, but a lot of Obama policies, right, or the laws that he passed, like went mostly to them, you know, uh,
To
you know,
who?
uh, to like homosexuals,
I gotcha.
right? Like gay people. They got a lot out of Obama policy, and I'm gonna say this, and you might think I'm crazy about this, but this is just my belief, right? The COVID-19 thing, like what we are
Yeah.
going through right now, right?
Yeah.
It didn't just happen, right? This wasn't a coincidence that just came into the world, right? They have been trying to depopulate this earth for so many years, right? That it's hard. They can't do it with an atomic bomb because they're gonna destroy the earth, right? So
Yeah.
when the 1% get see that there's too many of the 99% coming out, they fear an uprising, right? So they has to find a way to depopulate the earth, but to make it look like it's by nature, right? Or some type of disease, right?
Yeah.
So what they do, they start putting in like stuff like the COVID-19 example, right? So
Yeah.
then, right, then you got a thing, right, with Obama, right, where he had passed policies, right? Now, if you look on the television, if you listen to the radio, if you look on, there's a lot of homosexual activity going on. And then they got inside of the homes of everyday people, right? Now your kids see it, and what homosexual do or it don't do, it don't produce children,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there, man, I just look at
Well,
things as so. Go
there's a
ahead.
theory. There's a theory that that the COVID-19 was blown out of proportion so that they could scare people enough to get everyone to do vaccines. And the vaccines are actually the dangerous thing. And that the people who are the most poor are going to be exposed to the vaccines first.
Yeah,
Is
and see
Have you heard
that
that?
go back to Alabama with the
Hmm.
Tuskegee experiment, right?
Yep.
When they had all these poor black people come into this institution and tell them that they was going to give them a what do you call the thing? Where you stamp so you won't get like uh damn
Yeah, it's a type of vaccine. I don't
yeah,
know
a
what it's called.
vaccine, right? Say they was
Yeah.
giving them a vaccine, right? And but the whole time they was giving them people insulin. I
And they
mean, was giving them hepatitis. What is it?
no, no,
Syphilis.
well, yeah, they gave him syphilis, and
They
then
gave them syphilis,
they
and,
said they
and
were going to treat the syphilis, and they gave him nothing.
yeah, and they would not let a doctor in that whole entire like region for over 12 years even diagnose them with even have syphilis because they wanted to see how it spread in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have always, like black people, we've always been suspect when it came to the United States government.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So when you say that, that sounds like foreign to somebody that don't know. But as me as a black man and I know the history, I'm like, yeah, they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when government shows up, it doesn't feel like they're helping. It feels like you're like, oh shit, what are they up to?
Yeah, of course. And it goes back to like the rioting of the day. Like, you've got a lot of white people that has gotten involved in it, right?
Yeah.
Because the government has had their knees on the necks of middle class and low class white America for years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As well.
My experience of it is there's oppression going on across the board, and some people are oppressed more than others.
Yeah, and it's a worldwide, and it's gone worldwide. You know why?
Yeah.
Because the United States of America has had its knees on the neck of the world for years.
Yeah.
Right? Like if our economy fall, other countries' economy fall. Right?
That's true.
If we don't like how our leaders go in, we go in and disrupt their whole government system. Right? So they're not just saying, they're seeing our fight, but they might be fighting it in a different light. But it's all factored back towards the United States government, man.
Yeah.
And the mentality and the mindset of the arrogance that they possess.
All right, I'm
So
gonna.
when you don't care or when you don't hear of people that's trying to protest, right, peacefully, trying to sit in peacefully, right, trying to do, then you're dealing with when you try to have a civil conversation with uncivilized people, right? Then sometimes you just have to be like, what, I'm tired of getting, we done spoke, we done tried this, we done tried that, we done tried every which way that we could to get y'all to listen, right?
Yeah.
But now it then got to the point where the balled over. Now I've been in the house for umpteen or weeks or so, and now y'all done kill these people, and I'm already pissed off because I'm stuck in the house, I'm stuck in this box. Now I'm a revolt. I'm tired, right?
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
keep hitting me, right? Just like with Martin Luther King, right? When he had, like his civil protests and his now I love Martin Luther King, but I would have never marched with Martin Luther King, right?
Hmm.
I'm not like for violence, but I'm the type, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit your ass back, right? If you
Yeah.
shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot at you, right? That's like the
Yep.
first rule of law is self-preservation, right?
Yep.
So like that all that has been tried over years and decades, and no one was listening. Like no one, like it felt like no one cared.
Yeah. I want to dig into. I want to dig into what it was like. How old are you?
52.
52.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what it was like to grow up in Richmond as a black man, um, being on this earth for 52 years. But I got one. I want to get into that. I want to really hear that. But this thought just can't. It won't leave my brain. I gotta get
Uh-huh.
it out. Do you know who is leading Black Lives Matters?
No.
No. Okay.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Do you
I,
find that strange?
and I don't know.
Yeah. Do you find it strange that nobody knows
Well,
who's
I don't
organizing?
know. I mean, well, it could be. It could be. It could be strange. It could not be strange. Um, um, Me personally, right? Like the Black Lives Matter movement, I support it, right?
Yeah.
If it's that's what like, because Black lives do matter, right? We
Yeah.
know
For
as a
sure.
people, right, that all lives matter, right? If you got some love and you got some compassion and you got some empathy in your heart, we know that all lives matter, right? Just like I'm for Black power, I'm for white power, I'm for Latino power, right? I think whatever ethnic race you is, you should have pride in that race, right? But like I was saying, we know that all lives matter. It's just it just seemed like you all, not you, but Caucasians or the
You won't
government.
offend me.
Yeah, okay, because I know you, Blesso,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
That you all don't believe that Black lives matter because your policies don't dictate or your actions don't show us. So we have to let you know that like Black lives matter.
yeah.
Right? It's not something that we're saying that you don't matter and you don't matter and y'all don't matter. We
Right.
just got to let you know that our life matter, my son life matter, my life matter, my daughter life matter. As
Yep,
well as yours. The
yep.
same love that you have for your children and yourself and your mother and father, we have the same.
Yeah. No, I like the hashtag Black Lives Matter, the sign Black Lives Matter. Yes, I totally support that. But there's an organization that's someone's leading it, but it's a faceless person.
Yeah,
So or a group of people. That's all I was asking about.
I thought it was a sister. So I forgot the sister name, but I thought it was a sister that like got that organization together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
just I'm not questioning it as a movement necessarily as much as I'm just curious about uh that's just a question that's come up in the last week of it's like okay, it's a movement and usually there's somebody who is the face of it, somebody who's organizing, who's creating organization and there's even a concerned that it's less effective. It could be more effective if somebody were to step up as the face of it and start directing it versus it
but
seems very
why do you
yeah.
need a face?
Well, someone to organize like so that it's more effective. Like what are the actual somebody to say these are the actual policies that need to change. And the protests have created a lot of change already. So my question is, could it be even more effective if there was somebody that was leading it, like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or something like that? If there was a face to it, if it would be more effective, or do you think it's
Uh,
better this way?
Me personally, I think it's better this way. Right?
Mm,
I think to have like different groups of different. It's like the body. Like you got the arms, you got the legs, you got the toes, you got the fingers, you got the nose, right? But it's the whole body, right?
yeah,
But they have different entities for to do different things in different places. So there is no one ego. There is no one person that dictate that, we do it this way, we go to this place, we go to this way. You have different people and they decide to go over this way and they decide to go over that way. And see, that's why like I don't get involved or I don't like when they say we need a leader to come up or we need leadership, and I really don't get involved in that because the leaders that they are choosing or come in, right? They I just for me, man, I'm my own independent thinker,
yeah,
right? And I govern myself, right,
yeah,
very well. And I don't need nobody. I articulate my words very well, so I don't need nobody to speak up for me, right? I could speak for myself, right? I think for myself, right? And I don't need nobody coming in and then let me say this: when people come in and they become the head of organizations, right? Then you have people giving this organization a lot of money, right?
yeah,
Like I'm gonna give you a lot of money, because I want to be a part of this. Now, right, the person that giving the leader money, they got an agenda.
yeah,
Now it don't become the Black Lives Matter no more, right? It become the women's rights matter and the gay rights matter and the Latino lives matter and the all lives matter, and it defeat the purpose. So that's why I
yeah,
think I really like it the way it is, where like I say, it's one body but it's got different entities all over, and they do what they do.
Yeah. All right. I want to go back to what was it like to grow up? What was your experience like? Did you do you remember your first experience of racism,
Yeah, uh,
or do you want to share that?
yeah.
Uh,
I said my first experience with racism, um, on a level was it was uh some guys down here that had broke from out of death row, right? And they end up catching them, and at the Virginia State Penitentiary. That's where they had the lecture chair at. And the guys, they live like on the same block neighborhood that I lived in. So my mother went with their mother down there, because they was going to electrocute one of her children that day. So
mm,
we decided to stay outside, and it was in this little small area at this time called Oregon Hill, and it was a predominantly white redneck area. Right, you couldn't walk through there at night. Uh, if you was black, right? And
mm.
when I was standing out there with my mother, I can remember looking like across the street, and they was like out there, they was cheering, and they was like saying, "Yeah, kill this nigga, burn nigga, burn," and they had all like signs up, and when they pulled the switch on them,
How long?
all
Yeah,
this
go.
was
How
wild. Let
long
me
ago
finish.
was this? Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I was a little child, and all the lights in the neighborhood went out. Right? And when it came back on, the guy, he walked outside, and he put down such and such dead at such and such time, and the crowd just went ballistic, man. They was like cheering and roaring and screaming, and I was like, I asked my mom, I was like, why do they hate him so much? And she was like, they just stupid. Don't pay them no mind. You know, I was like, damn. So,
Mm, mm, man, not.
yeah.
How old were you?
So I probably was like 9,
9 years old,
9 or 10.
and
Yeah.
people were cheering for it.
Yeah. Man, they was in it was like they, like Mardi Gras or some shit had jumped off in that period of time. You know. So
Mm,
now man, sometimes as you grow and you see things, you get accustomed to them. It becomes the norm, right?
yeah,
So you try to ignore it, but in the back of your mind, you want to shout out, you want to scream, but it's the norm. It's like an average day thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I really think that, and one of my intentions of this show is to hear stories, like to understand and to hear and understand your perspective. And I know a lot of people say there's not racism, um, but they don't hear stories like this.
yeah,
And when I hear, when we watched the video George Floyd, it was heartbreaking. And when I hear the story you just told me, it's heartbreaking.
yeah,
And I think that there's been a lot of anger, um, and people don't understand why there's anger.
yeah.
But it
Racism,
is,
man. Racism has been in existence for uh, decades, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and if you don't see racism, I tell you what you can do. You can go visit a city urban school, high school, middle school, elementary school. Then go to a county school, or like somewhere like a Chesterfield school, right? And look at the buildings. Look at the capitulation of like how the city schools, the urban schools, where it's majority of black students in there. Look at how that school is, and then like I say, go to a county school and look at how plush and their school is, and see you can see like it's 30 students in the urban school in classroom, and it's 12 to 15 in another classroom. Right? You can look at the institutions, right? And you can see that there are racism in there. Right? It might not be public size like when you walk down the street, or you might not see it because you stay in your area and you stay in your comfort zone with different people. But I can see racism when I roll down the street, and I can give you an example. Right? Like if I go down the street and say if I don't have on a tie, right, then or if I do wear a tie, right, and I got the suit and the flat shoes or whatever on, I'm considered safe, right? But if I wear like what I like to wear, because I don't wear ties, right? I don't wear
Yeah.
the flat shoes because they keep make my feet swell, right? So if I wear something comfortable, right, like a hoodie and some jeans and a sneaker, right, then I get looked at like I'm a hoodlum, like I'm a thug, like I'm a drug dealer, you know, like I'm a gangbanger or something, like I'm ready to snatch a fucking pocketbook. And I may
Yeah.
got more money in my account than the lady that's clutching her pocketbook tight as a bitch, walking beside me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I choose not to wear like a tie because it's uncomfortable to me. And it
Yeah.
seemed like every time I try to put one around my neck, right, it seemed like the spirit of my ancestors just scream out because it makes me uncomfortable, like I'm putting a fucking noose around my own damn neck, right? So I choose not to wear one. But that don't make me no lesser because of like what I wear. Now we have sat down and we've had discussions before. I've sat down with a lot of people that know me, right? They know I'm far from the negative connotations that somebody may try to stigmatize me with.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that so you had trouble in your youth? Do you think that the system was set up in opposition to you, that that it was more difficult for you as a black man from Richmond to succeed in the world, or and
As a black man anywhere in the world, in the United States, right? The system is already designed from them at birth to fail, right? As you look at, I'm gonna give you another example. When you go to school, right? You go to school, we get the worst books, we got the worst uh, institutions, right? Our buildings, right? And then we only get 28 days out of the year to do Black history, right? They don't teach us about our history, right? But they would teach us about white people history all year long, right? So when I'm constantly learning about how great you is, and I don't hear nothing about how great I am, subconsciously in my mind, that make me think, damn, do I just come from jungles and trees, or when they do give it to us, they give us the watered down version of Malcolm X. We get Harriet Tubman, right? We get let me see, Doug Frederick Douglass, right? All every year the same three people, right? But they never give us people like Denmark Vesey, right? Or I'll say let me see, what's my man name, man, that I was just reading about him the other day. Damn, or I'm gonna say Malcolm X. They never give us Marcus Garvey, the real Malcolm X. They never give us Elijah Muhammad. They never give us Akhenaten. They never give us Imhotep. They never talk about Huey Newton. We just get the same old people, right? And so you be like, damn, what did I contribute to this planet? And then when it goes on from school, like then as we get older, you know, our our jobs uh become less. And like you as a white man, you could go with a high school education and get a better job than I can with a college degree, right? Or but just because of your skin color, right? And what happens, like sometimes people get upset because we still like good things. So what we do, we
Well, some people say the opposite
what?
because businesses um, are rewarded or they to stay out of trouble. A lot of times they'll. I'm saying what other people say. I don't know, but I've
Mm-hmm.
also heard people say the opposite. It's easier to get a job if the credentials are exactly the same. It's easier to get a job as a black man
That's
because of I'm not remembering the word right now. Um, that that's just what I've seen. Not I have not experienced that. That's what I've read, and I've seen it. I've seen it go both ways as far as like people's opinions on that. And
yeah,
I
of course.
imagine it's different from place to place. Like that might be different in one city or state than another state. That could also be different.
Yeah, and it's different because there's supposed to be a law where that so a job's supposed to have so many minorities,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
But there are always ways around law, right?
Yeah.
We can have the law, right? Housing segregation. A lot of places I can't get in because of the color of my skin. Right? That's racism. I've
Yeah.
seen that. I've
Yeah.
been a part of that. Places I
Yeah.
can't go because of the color of my skin. Right? That's racism. You
Yeah.
might not see it because it don't affect you.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm a part of it. I see it. I've witnessed it, and it has happened to me. Right? So
Yeah. You're
when
right
when
about
when
that.
we
There's things that I just
yeah,
don't
so when
see.
I
I
talk
just don't
about
know.
racism,
Yeah.
to somebody that has never had had that happen, they be like, I don't see it. I don't get it. Why are you so upset?
Yeah.
What seems to be the problem? This is a great country.
Yeah.
What's the wrong? And then I'm like, because you don't see it from my eyes. You
Yeah.
haven't witnessed what I've witnessed. Or been through what I've been through. You know,
Yeah.
like like right now in this country, locking up African Americans and brown skinned people, right, or people of color, is a big business.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
billion-dollar industry,
Yep.
right? And then they
Yeah.
wonder why, right? Like our communities are so like disorganized or dysfunction because if you look, you got millions of young black men that's in prison right now for nonviolent offenses, and you're taking them away from his family. Right? When you
Yep.
take a father out of the house, right, there's no structure, right?
Yep.
So the son and if the mother has like sons, right, there's no father figure in the house to look up to.
Yep.
So a lot of times the son become the father, right?
Yeah.
He become a grown man at 12 and 13 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, the, the,
Yeah.
the system is racism, brother.
Yeah. And one of the things that I do know is the drug laws are a huge
Mm-hmm.
problem, and I think the motivation behind a lot of the drug laws were racist.
Of
Uh,
course. And
yeah.
and if you look at it right now, from me, like I used to look at TV and they used to show all these, especially like in the 80s and the 90s, like they used to show all these news media's coverage on like crack mamas and how, and I'd be like, damn, I'd be like, damn, where they showing them people at? Because I don't see them like that, right?
Yeah.
But they show the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah.
They go to the worst part and do like pick the worst person in the world that they can find, right? And they just keep blowing that shit up and blowing it up, right? Then your perception, because that's what you see of a crack addict, that's what you perceive that's what a crack addict is, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see that, then they are able to pass laws, and then they could come in like I'm walking around, I'll be like, damn, I see crack addicts every day, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see them like that, but I've never seen a crack addict nod off crack cocaine. I've never saw that, right? And what they would do, right? Once they start passing these laws, right, bless so they come in your neighborhood with armored vehicles and could destroy your homes and like I seen them ramrod like a front door with a damn military tank, and snatched the whole front of the house off for a dime piece of cocaine. Right. So now these people ain't got no house no more. Right. They ain't got no house because they could justify why they went in there and why they did what they did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
I'm
fucked
like,
up, man.
damn. And then the same thing that crack cocaine made out of, that's cocaine. Right?
Right.
That's cocaine. So I get 20 years like, for a $5 rock of cocaine. Right? You get 5 years or probation for a $5 piece of cocaine. But we got the same thing. Right?
Yeah,
Actually, my
crack.
shit come from yours.
Yeah, crack cocaine is it's. Are you saying there's a higher penalty for crack cocaine versus cocaine?
Yes. And you know
Oh, I didn't
why?
know that.
Why it is? You know why it is?
White
Because
people do cocaine and
and black people do crack. You're exactly
yeah,
right. You're
yeah,
exactly right.
yeah.
Because it's a cheaper form.
I heard crack was pretty good as far as like experiences go, but I I was I was told by someone, they said you should try it sometime as long as you don't know where to get more. That's the
Okay.
problem.
I wouldn't recommend that, Bless. I
No,
wouldn't.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
do
that one there, you just gotta let that miss that one, man.
it.
Let them keep that one to themselves. You know.
All right, I won't touch it. I won't mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
and, and like I was saying, man, um like even when it comes to like I say Colin Kaepernick, right? How he got blackballed, right? And all he was doing was trying to peacefully protest by kneeling down during the national anthem, right?
Yeah.
But the mass media gave a perception and kept putting it out, and the government, like he was un-American, right? Like
Yeah.
he was discriminating the United States flag, right? And it was never about that. It was about police corruption and police killing black folks, right?
Yeah.
And even when LeBron came out and tried to LeBron James, when he came out and he was trying to like uh tell people, or like let people know, like, no, it's not about the flag, it's not about him doing the flag, discriminating against the flag. It's about this. You got anchors on Fox News telling him to shut up and dribble the ball, right? Just shut up and dribble. Like that's what your job is. Your job, like we ain't listening to you. That don't concern us. You're an entertainer, and that's why I don't like entertainers to be in heads of
Mm,
movements and stuff like that. I don't
mm,
like basketball players, whatever the case may be. If you're a movie star, I don't like them to be because they are entertainers, right? They entertain, right? And that's how it was like back in the slave days. They used slaves to entertain the slave master, right? I just I'm just not a part of that. I'm for whatever they gotta say if it can help and in order, but I don't need a leader. But
yeah.
I don't need to follow a certain um like what this person say or what that person say. Right? I can think for myself. I can like I said, I can articulate my words very well for myself. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't need nobody to speak for me. You know.
Do you think that the police or the politicians are more at fault?
Well, it's both. It's both because the politicians, the policies that they put in place allows the police to get away what they get away with. Like we've seen this over the years where fucking what's the dude name that got the shit beat out of him on the highway long time ago in California and they riding Rodney
Oh,
King?
Rodney King. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that on live video. Right? We
Yeah.
saw them arrest them people and everything. But what happened? They got off. Right?
Yeah.
We've been seeing this shit, right? And it's the policies that the politician has put in place that they allow the police to be uh, uh, they are tyrants in the communities,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know, and they can
I,
get away with it.
yeah. I would argue the police are more at fault because they're the ones actually carrying it out.
Yeah, but they're only carrying out what their supervisors tell them to do.
Yeah, but
Like a lot
but
of police, they have like a certain amount of people that they have to lock up to.
yeah, but they signed up for like I think it's a lack of personal responsibility
Of
to
course,
just follow orders.
that's what it is. But if you was in the
You're
military,
saying, you know what? I don't want to be responsible, so I'll let someone else handle this.
yeah. But if you was in the military and they sent you over in Afghanistan, and you never met these people, you've never interacted with any one of these people, and they send you in the house to tell you to kill all the people, are you just following orders when you do that?
Yep,
Yeah. So it's the same thing.
it
It's
is.
the policies. Yeah,
It,
it's the same thing.
I'm
Then
not.
people,
I'm not. I'm not. I'd say the people in the military are more at fault too.
of course,
Like that, the more the responsibility falls on the shoulders of the person who is uh, implementing the action.
of course. And then the thing is, right? If you look at all the protests, right? They got the same people, right?
And by the
That's
way, I was in the military, so
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
took
why I said
orders.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I said that because
but
I
I
know you.
but I gave up personal power and responsibility, um, and it was illegitimate. It was not. Uh, I have to take responsibility for that now.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
I
and the
can't just
same.
I can't just say it was they gave me the orders, it was their fault. No,
Mhm.
I'm the one that takes the action.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And if you look at it now, like what's going on with the marches today, you got the police that's out there that's moving, people along, shooting tear gas and doing all that, right? But
What the fuck, man? That's so
they're
crazy.
they're supposed to be our people. They're supposed to protect and serve the people,
Yeah.
right? But like I said, the policies and when it rolled down from um this captain to this sergeant, they go out there and do this and do that, and they follow orders, right? But they have family members that's a part of this community. They live in this community. So what happened when Reagan, when Trump say, okay,
That's a 20-year, that's a
yeah,
30-year difference.
he say 50. Like when Trump say, okay, y'all start shooting and killing all of them, right? Who gonna take personal responsibility then? Right? These your same family and cousins and uncles and neighbors and people that you grew up in school with, right? That's not really violent, but they've gotten orders to shoot, tear gas, bomb, these people, and they do it. Who take personal responsibility then?
They should. They should walk
They
away.
point fingers. They like to
Like
point fingers.
he's asked me to shoot tear gas at a bunch of U.S. citizens. I'll walk away.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they should do. And if you don't
And
walk away, that's a problem. That's
see
where I
they
see it.
they can play the blame game. They can point fingers and play the blame game, right? And get one person that's all the way down the ladder, right?
Yeah.
And put all that burden on him.
Well, I think this is the core of the problem is you have cops that are good cops, you got cops that are bad cops, but the good cops are still bad cops when they don't say anything because they
Exactly.
don't take on responsibility. They're like, "Oh, it's not my whatever." I think that's at core of the issue is a lack of personal responsibility. And that's why the
Yeah.
police departments fucked up. I'm not going to say all police departments are fucked up. I'm sure there's police departments that are amazing, but
Mhm.
these police departments where people aren't saying anything and they're not stopping things, that to
Yeah.
me that's
Because
on the cops, and
because
they
they
need to
come
take
in
responsibility for it.
and they want to be like this macho, right? They don't want to
Hmm.
show compassion or empathy or understanding, right? They want to be
It's
like
not
this figure.
popular.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's not popular. You're not in with the good old boys when you do it
Hmm.
like that, you know. So they want to come in and put on these guerrilla tactics. Well, I'm so tough, and where I'm from, we got a saying that most police really What only reason they became police because they got beat up and bullied when they was kids.
Mm, yeah.
But now they got the gun and they got the badge, and now
Wait.
they tough guys.
I mean, I think another problem we have is a lot of former military going into police force.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the police force when I got out because it seemed like it would be an easy crossover. It's like, okay, I've got this training, and the only place to take that training is, police department. He's like, okay, I
Yeah.
got it, because they carry a gun, they wear a vest, and but the 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 role that they got to play is completely different. The police are there to protect and serve, and if you're in the military, it's to, fuck shit up. And
Yeah.
you take people whose job is to fuck shit up, and then you say, oh, by the way, you're gonna do the opposite now, but you have the
Mm-hmm.
same tools. Here's the same tools, but do the opposite now.
Yeah.
And you talk about mentality. I think that's part of it. I think we actually I think one thing that would be a good idea is if you served in a war. If you've been to war, you don't get to be a police officer. And it
Yeah.
may feel like a lot of people in the military or veterans may feel like they're being limited, but I think that's a problem, especially with how much PTSD we have with
Yeah.
people coming back from war.
Yeah. Man, it's just a lot of things that's gonna have to go in effect, right? And it's gonna take years. It's not gonna happen overnight. Right.
Yeah,
It's just something that's gonna have to be sit down and people are going to have to come together and to come up with a solution, right? But first, we have to like get that mindset out of the government, right? To like, cause oppression, man, is real, right?
yeah,
And people are being are tired of being oppressed, while very few have the luxury of living, off of the hard work of the majority of people. Like we want a part of this of what they call the American dream as well,
yeah.
right? But to most people, American dream is just an illusion, bro.
I think it's 100% illusion.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I know people who, they have money, they have cars, they have houses, all that shit.
Hmm.
Still ain't happy.
Yeah, you
'Cause
know
they,
why? You know why they're not happy? Because they're looking for outside entities to make them feel good about themselves. So they keep
yeah,
acquiring all this junk, right? All this
yeah,
junk, and it's only a momentarily high, right? They be high for the moment, right? But once that wear off, then here comes depression, here comes anxiety and all that. When all the time, because society has gotten them to believe that what they need out of life is outside of them, right? So they're always outside searching and searching for this and searching for the next thing and searching for the next lover, right? Or the next car or the next hit or what the next score. When all you gotta do, man, is turn all what you're looking for and turn it inside. Everything you need for happiness is already inside. It's already been stored in you. Right? You just have to search. You have to go deep. You have to search that scratch. You got to go beneath the surface, right? Because you're gonna have
yeah.
to go deep, and it's gonna be some tears maybe shed, right? And then you're gonna understand that the lie that you have been living or searching for so long is gonna be some anger, right? Like, man, I've been lied to. I've been leading this life for so many years, like that I would have died behind this. And the whole time what I was searching for was right in me. So, people have to, man, like stop looking outside for things and other people to make them feel good about themselves. Right. And like I always, these my like three of my favorite few words, man. It's empathy, compassion, right, and understanding. Right. And if I can get that, man, in the world would be a better place.
Yeah,
But we will never have it if we have a government that's arrogant about everything. Like instead of saying, okay, I fucked up this wrong or this wrong, they make excuses for why they did this, right? Or they don't show this, or they won't let you see this, or they'll block this from happening. Man, you know, I just think, the mindset of the people that's up in charge has to be changed. And the only way it can be changed is like we as people, we has to find like other people that's going for different offices. We have to put them in that position to be
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah. For Paris, man. Is there anything else before we go that you wanna any message you want to leave everybody?
No, bro, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Just sitting in here politicking from afar. But I know COVID's still out there too, man. I ain't, I ain't, I ain't dumb to that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate
yeah,
you coming on, taking the time and sharing things that aren't easy to share. And especially in a time when these topics are hot. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, man.
man. I appreciate you asking me to come on, man. But I would like to say this though. 99 years ago, May the 31st through June the 1st is when they had the bombing of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street. Where they bombed and they massacred. It was called Black Wall Street, and it was May the 31st, June the 1st, right? Where they destroyed, I think it was 35 city blocks, where they dropped bombs out of the air on this community. That's why Gap Band had a song called "You Dropped the Bomb on Me." And it's
I've
called
never
Black
heard
Wall.
I've never heard
Yeah, look
about
it up,
this.
man. Google that up, bro. Yeah,
What
Google
am I
that up.
googling?
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get enough black history when I was younger.
That's what I'm and that's
Yeah.
nobody had, right? This everything that I'm talking to you, I didn't get it in school. I got it through self-education. I educated myself. I read a lot, man. I study a lot. I got to
Yeah.
I want to know more. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. We don't learn them. These things need to be taught in the home.
Yeah. Well, that's the truth. That's the truth right there. People relying on the school, parents, parents
Yeah,
and families, but
yeah,
can't trust. Like I, I'm not going to say the government's good or bad, but it's there and it does what it does. Um,
yeah,
but I don't rely on it. I don't rely on it. I don't trust. I don't rely on it for my education. I don't rely on it for anything.
yeah.
I'll definitely
Especially,
I'll definitely use it, but I ain't gonna rely on it. I'm not
yeah,
gonna trust them to tell me the truth. I'm not gonna trust them
exactly.
to make. I don't trust them to look out for my good. They're not looking out for me.
Yeah.
They're looking out for them.
Yeah, and exactly, bro. When it comes to like your child or your children, right? You can't rely on the school system to educate your child, right? Out,
No.
because that needs to be done in the home, right? You need to like install in your child mentality, like like Black history. You need to do homework. You need to do parenting, because a lot of parents think because their children get to a certain age, right? They don't need a lot of more attention now because they go to school and all that. But you always got to be parenting your kid, right?
Yep.
Because if you don't do it, peer pressure going to take over, and then you're going to look up one day and you're not going to even recognize your fucking child anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Wise words. Thank you, Paris. All
No
right. Where
problem.
can
Yes,
people
sir.
find you? Where can we see
Uh,
you? Because I see you post stuff sometimes, and I love
yeah, yeah.
it.
I get a lot, man, all kinds of, some people enjoy it, some people like, oh, why did you do that? You're gonna get, you might get Muhammad Ali, you're gonna get Malcolm X, you're gonna get Bernie Mac, you're gonna get Scarface, you're gonna get everything on my Facebook page, man. You just give me where I'm at that day, but I'm on Facebook, man, Paris Robinson. Also my email is probinson57 at caritasworks.org. you know, and my Instagram is P Robinson 1195.
P Robinson 1195.
Right.
And yeah, I'll this is going up on Facebook, and so what I'll do is I'll go in there and link your name and everything so people can just click on it.
All right, sound like a plan, my brother.
Yeah,
And be
man.
safe, man, in Nevada, man. Watch out for the bears and shit,
There
man.
there are bears up here.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Love you, brother. I'll
All
chat with
right,
you
bro.
later.
Peace. Peace.